What's up, everybody? It is your sis and your friend Crystal Whitaker right here on the Morning Jam podcast, where we talk about any and everything. Personal, old snaps and claps. It's a dang good day to talk about a few things. So let's get into it. What's up, everybody? It is your sis and your friend Crystal Whitaker right here on the Morning Jam podcast. And I'm so excited right here. You guys have special guests. Who are you?
Juan Thomas, right here in the flesh.
Juan Thomas. He is from what?
Paducah, Kentucky.
Kentucky. Yes, I'm so excited to have you on here. And listen, when I noticed your Facebook page and all that, I was like, man, this young man is doing a thing. He is out here working the streets and talking and chattering and getting up and working hard. I love it. So welcome to the Morning Gym podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
So I know that you are a former candidate for mayor of Paducah.
Yes, ma'am.
A host of Dujuan. Am I saying your name right?
Dujuan, you got it.
Dujuan, yes, Dujuan Thomas live.
Yes,
listen,
ma'am.
When I saw that too, I watched you on YouTube. Amazing job. I love it.
You.
And you have over 250,000 followers on YouTube already. So congratulations.
Well, over 250,000 views. I need to get that subscribers soon. That's coming soon, though. That's coming soon.
Right. So welcome. So let's get into it. Tell a little bit of I'm saying little. My goodness, we're not little. We're big here. So let people know who you are and where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm Dujuan Thomas, born and raised in Paducah, Kentucky, graduated from Paducah Tillman and recently graduated from the University of Louisville. So I'm grateful for all that schooling to be over. As you said, I'm the host of Dujuan Thomas Live. You can kind of see my banner back there in my setup. Former candidate for mayor here in Paducah, using my platform and my voice to make a difference. That's what I love to do. I love doing what's right for people, and also I was born and raised in the church. So, God is the head of my life, his son, Jesus. Grateful for my faith and everything that I was brought up in. And I love videography. I love photography, and I do celebrity interviews. I guess that's a little bit about me.
That's a lot. So, and that tells a lot about yourself too, as well, because, when I was like, okay, so he is the number one in Kentucky of interviewing celebrities. How does that feel for you, like being the number one there in Kentucky?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's honestly a self-proclaimed title because nobody else in Kentucky claimed it. So I'm gonna claim it because I'm out here doing my thing. It's always been great, blessing from God with the networking that I've been able to do. Like my first major interview was with LeVar Ball and his son LeAngelo Ball. And from there, it just kept taking off. Like I kept just networking with people. And, like I said, it's all thanks to God. And then Jacqueline Carr, JJ Hairston, those are my next ones. And then it just kept going down. People from The Office, Dog the Bounty Hunter, which is one of my biggest videos right now with him, and wrestlers, WWE superstars. And it's just been going down that line. And, it's just networking. I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, I love it. So who do you think is your favorite interviewer at this point so far?
Man, I got asked that once before, and it's kind of hard, because there's so many good ones. Dorinda Clark Cole, she was amazing when I had her on my show, real down to earth. Like we were only supposed to talk for like 15 minutes, and we ended up talking for nearly 2 hours. Like she's an amazing person. And here recently, I just interviewed a whole bunch of wrestlers from WWE, and the Boogeyman. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He was honestly, he's the scariest character on the show, but then in person, he was so down to earth, breaking character for the most part, but he's so down to earth and a great person. And I guess my good friend Stevie Mackey, he's the celebrity vocal coach out in LA, works with Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, all these big name folks. And he was one of my favorite ones. I still haven't released that interview yet. I need to get to that, but I think him because, he's kind of the person that really got me into the Hollywood lifestyle. I came out to LA. He mentored me. I met J-Lo, met LMA, met all these people at his home and out at Universal Studios on sets. So I really am grateful for him. And I guess he would be one of my favorites, even though it's not released yet.
Well, that's awesome. So you do know that I grew up with Jacqueline Carr's mother, Jennifer.
Really?
Yes, we would like meet up at programs because I'm a singer too. So I sing with my sister. So we would travel and we would end up at the same program because it's just a small town, small area. So yes, I know her personally. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I might need to get in touch for round 2 of our part 2 of one of our interviews. So
Yes,
maybe something comes from that.
awesome. So he's really great. Really
Yeah,
great.
you said her dad.
Yes.
And that's the amazing part because we were at a church in Louisville. I was just going there to meet JJ Harrison, interview him, and it turns out to be her dad. And I seen people grouping around her after the service, and I'm like, I asked him, who is she? Like, because I wasn't familiar, and he's like, oh,
Yeah.
she's one of the, she has 1 million views on YouTube. Like he was really hyping her up, and
Yes.
come to find out that's her dad, and he was so nice, and he set up the interview. He's like, yeah, I can get you an interview, and I was
Yeah.
grateful for that. So he is amazing.
Yeah. He has worked with her like since she was little, just grinding hard with her. So yeah,
Wow.
she will be another, just continuing round two of your first one. So yeah.
Oh yeah. And I got a lot
So
more equipment now, so it'll be a lot better production put on.
right, right. That's awesome. So what got you into doing interviews and everything and wanting to act and model as well? What got you into that?
Um, Honestly, ever since I was younger, I always said I wanted to be famous, or I knew I was going to be famous, and I'm still, climbing that ladder up. And I guess just my love for films, it started when I was like 12. My mom had got me like a little camera, because I'm a kid, so she got me like a cheap camera from Walmart or wherever she got it from, and I would vlog every day, like I would document my day every day, and it just kept evolving from there. And it wasn't till halfway through college where I decided because I wanted to be mentored by people. Like I realized that the most successful people have successful mentors. So it kind of what's the word? Kind of merged with that idea of having mentors because people ain't just going to want to mentor some random boy from Kentucky. So I decided I have a camera always on me. Why not interview these people so I can gain their knowledge and also share their knowledge with other people while also building up my brand, being beside these folks. So that's kind of what got me started on it was just wanting to learn more from these successful people and also wanting to be able to share it and grow my platform while doing so.
That's awesome. So I know for me, I definitely want to be a mentor to the younger generation, even to women. My heart is just for women to reach out to them to just make them feel like queens and bosses. I was talking about that earlier. So I definitely want to reach their heart, not just be in their face and just looking the way I'm looking. I just want to reach the heart of women and just
Yeah.
really motivate them to bring out the best that's in them. So that's what the Morning Jam has started, even off to be from like a Facebook Live, and then it went to the podcast because a lot of people were getting on my Facebook Live and it's like, Crystal, why don't you have a podcast? And I was like, I don't know, I'll think about it. But then the podcast come along and I'm just truly grateful. It's been amazing. It's been a great journey, even like meeting artists and people like yourself that's out here working and just to really motivate me and encourage me to keep going and doing what I'm doing. So I take my hat off to you, young man. I know that you're what, in your 20s?
Yeah, I just turned 23 this month. Yeah. No, last month, May 22nd. So,
Well,
yeah,
happy
just turned 23.
birthday.
Thank you. I
Happy
appreciate
birthday.
it.
Awesome. Awesome. So why haven't you, I said introduce yourself, but why didn't you mention the National Guard?
Oh, you know what? It's crazy because I can't believe it's been so long since I've been out, like, and since I've joined, because I enlisted in the National Guard when I was 17. I mean, I should have mentioned. I don't know why I'd be forgetting to mention that because,
Right.
yeah. Well, I enlisted when I was 17 in high school. I went to basic my junior year, well, the summer after my junior year of high school. Graduated basic, then went to AIT after my senior year, and just served every week or every once a month, a week in a month, and then 2 weeks out of the summer. And it was amazing, and I had some turbulence at the end with some, because we in Kentucky, so there's going to be some prejudice folk around here. So there was a lot of stuff that went on with that. And I
Yeah.
put a video on my YouTube about it, like telling most of the story of what happened with me and, some of my fellow minorities in the unit. But other than that, it was an experience and I'm grateful for it because it's really helped mold me into who I am. And like, I made some lifelong friends while I was training, out of state. And then some like a handful of my closest friends also enlisted with me and, maybe a year after or so. So we were all at the same unit here in Paducah together. Every weekend we had drill. So it was always just fun because, a secret with the military, you do a whole lot of nothing, to be honest. Like, and you'll see other people talk about it. Like, we are doing our job, but there's usually not a lot to do, depending on your MOS, depending on your job. So us being truck drivers and logistics, once we got done with the trucks, there ain't much we can honestly do, but it was
Wow.
fun. I enjoyed it.
So why did you join at a young 17 is like a baby, like
I
super
know,
young.
right?
I say a baby because I'm
Yeah.
up in age. So why did you join at the age of 17? Why?
Well, it was mainly because they offered free college or tuition paid for through the National Guard, and I was trying to figure out. Me and my close friend Jonathan were trying to figure out which branch we should join to get college for free, and the National Guard. I don't know. I met somebody at J.C. Penney who was joining the National Guard. He told me all about it, and it just went from there. And that was like the best option for us to be able to attend college while also serving the country at the same time.
Wow. Well, we are definitely grateful for your service,
Mhm.
Dewan. I'm grateful as well. My nephew joined the National Guard, and I wouldn't say that he loved it, but he definitely appreciated it because it set
Oh
a
yeah.
ground, a level ground for him. I'm not saying that he was doing wild stuff, but it definitely set him at a mindset of, okay, I can do this, and just run forward with what he wanted to do. I know that right now he has graduated with a psychology degree. So,
Yeah.
what was your major?
Communications.
Communications.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I can see that. So,
Yeah.
um, I know for you, like, why? I mean, how do you actually pick the people that you're going to interview? Or is it like a certain category that you want? People that you want on your show? How do you go about that?
Yeah, so for my show, the basis of my show, because I've always wanted to be able to give back to my city somehow, some way. And since I didn't become mayor, I was still going to do my show even if I did become mayor. I decided that this would be a great platform to be able to, help and encourage and inspire people here in our city and abroad. So that's why I kind of did celebrity interviews split with local interviews. So the main focus of it was just to be able to give local talent a platform to share their story, to share what they're doing, to share their music, or because I had musical guests come on the show as well. They may not have been interviewed for the show, but I had them come on just to show their talent. So that was the biggest part of my show. And then outside of my show, just interviews, usually just events that go on. Cause I haven't done it because last year with the COVID, I didn't do any interviews. But this year I started my first one, or started back when I went to Indianapolis with the wrestlers and WWE and all that. So really it's just people with a platform of their own, because I'm still growing myself. So it's smart to, if people already have a platform, help use their name to help grow your name at the same time. But some, I don't
Yeah.
like it to be like a leech kind of mentality, like, oh, you got followers, so now I want to do it. But it's more so of, I grew up watching you, I enjoy what you do, so I want to be able to interview you and share, ask you questions that I personally want to know, and share those responses with the masses. So it's kind of a two-part thing with it, I guess.
Yeah. So I know like how is your family like really pushing or even motivating you to keep doing what you're doing? How is that for you?
Yeah, so my family is my biggest support system, I gotta say. They've always supported me, like every endeavor. I've never had really
Yeah.
any backlash with anything, because I am I guess you could say, a free thinker and always wanting to do something new. But at the end of the day, even if they didn't support me, or if nobody supported me, I'm still going to do what I want to do, and
Yeah.
keep trusting God with it, and trusting it, in my faith. And that's kind of how I've been doing it. Even if I do get negative feedback, I'm still gonna do it, because it's me, my life, and nobody's gonna hold me back from it.
Wow, that's encouraging. Thank you. I needed that too.
Yes, ma'am.
So so what happens when you hear like something like even negative towards you, like to somebody maybe even putting you down, like your show is nothing, you out here. I mean, a lot of people like tend to do that to see even where you're going to go, or you're going to stop, or you're going to, how have you ever got that before?
Oh yeah, and I laugh at it. It's hilarious to me, honestly. There's a satire page here in Paducah, and they have a big following. And ever since I ran for mayor, they make posts almost every couple weeks about me. And I don't think they're doing it to be malicious, like really try to get at me. It's funny stuff, and it makes me laugh. I share it to my story. Like, they make fun of my election results and all that, because I was a write-in candidate. And just all that kind of stuff. And then people do talk about my show, and or not even just my show, but just talk about me in general. And I just call them my biggest fans, because they're the main people keeping my name in their mouth. And it is hilarious. I honestly, when people send me stuff or tell me stuff, like when I ran for mayor, one of the people took a sign of mine and drew like a clown face on it. And when my mom, she was mad about it. Like, she sent it to me like, oh, Bob, she was super mad, but I literally laughed. I'm like, that's hilarious, because all they're doing is just making my name bigger. Like all they're doing is sharing my name. And if
Yeah.
that's what y'all complaining that I'm trying to become famous, you're helping me out. So thank y'all very much. But that's how I deal with it all. Like negativity doesn't bring me down. I'm a super positive person. And, if the main part is, I know when I'm getting backlash that I'm doing something right. Cause if I wasn't doing something right, I wouldn't hear nothing going on. So that's the biggest part. And also like, I just keep a positive mindset. Like I don't ever because people that I don't know the word, like put out negativity, they're showing how they're going to get back negative, and I'm putting out positive. And I only receive positive.
Exactly, exactly. So you had mentioned mayor, running for mayor.
Mhm.
So what type of experience was that's kind of like huge for me. Like I don't know what I would be like thinking like, okay, I'm gonna run for mayor. Like
Yeah.
how was that?
So honestly, it was because the election was in 2020, and it was the end of 2019 where I saw our election was coming up, and I was like, I think I want to do that. I don't know why. It's kind of like God put it on my heart to do it, and I'm like, I'm gonna think on it. And then COVID happened, and I still hadn't make a decision. But then everything, and at
Yeah.
that time, at the end of 2019, something kept telling me because I was in Louisville at the time, still doing college and everything. Something kept telling me, you're not gonna be here much longer. You're gonna be back home for a while, and I was just accepting it, because then I went through a breakup at that time with my girlfriend at the time. And so everything just panned out to me being back in Paducah. So COVID happened and I was here on spring break and I never left. I'm still here. And
Wow.
that's when the election was coming up. And I think it was in April where I asked my grandmother, I'm like, should I run for mayor? And she was like, she encouraged me to do it. She said, they're going to try to chew you up and spit you out. But, she still encouraged me to do it. And so I did. I started literally, I would sit on the living room because that's before I even had my studio built. I would sit in the living room on my computer, just making all of my material. I knew I needed logos. I know I needed merch. I know I needed so much stuff. So that whole month of April, I just started working on it and creating everything I needed. And then in May, I had my video made in April as well. And I and I announced in May the 4th that I was running for mayor. And I was honestly surprised with the amount of support that I received. Like, I was just thinking, I didn't know how people would perceive it. I didn't care either way, but it was so much love and support from people that it just blew me away. And I was just grateful for it all. And even on that same day, that's when I received my document, my certification as a Kentucky colonel. Like I got ordained as a Kentucky colonel that same day. It was sitting on my doorstep. So I'm like, I'm doing something right. I think I'm on the right
Yeah.
path then. So,
Yeah.
and
Would
then this
you
went on.
do it all over again? Would you do it again?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, and I was grateful for the opportunity because I learned so much. Like I grew throughout that entire experience. Like just mentally and just in politics because I've always been an outspoken person. Like I haven't been a political person, but I've been a political as in like right from wrong, like saying, speaking up on issues, especially during my time in the military. So it really grew me there, and I was able to really dive into changes because I've always wanted to bring changes and bring positive change. So that gave me the biggest platform in my area, of course, to speak on issues that weren't being spoke on. And that was one of the main reasons I ran because we got these same people running these cities in this country and they ain't doing nothing. They talk all this big talk, but they're not doing nothing. And it's mainly because we have only 60, 70, 80-year-old people running for office. We need people my
Right.
age and, somewhere in, 30, 40, and maybe 50, running for these offices because we have a
Yeah.
vision of what needs to be changed. We're not thinking about what we wanted when we were 20 because we are 20 or 30, so on. So yeah, I'm going off on a tangent with that because I was just very passionate about it because
I
I just
see
wanted
that
to see
you're very
changes.
passionate about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know in your YouTube video, you were doing your mayor speech and everything. It was just really amazing to me because you were like, I want to be the voice for the voiceless. And it was just, I'm like, I'm still in that. I'm still in it. I was
Yeah.
like, that was really good. So like you said, younger people with the fresh mind really need to just step out. And I know that there's smart young adults that's out here that's really can really just be great in offices like that and really help in that area. So I definitely appreciate you for that. So you did say that you're going to try and run again.
Oh yeah. So I plan on running for city commission here in the next election, which is in 2022. So I plan on doing that because there is some good commissioners on the board. There's 4 commissioners, and at least 2 or 3 of them I think are all right. But there's one on there that I don't see him doing anything. Just because you have money and you own buildings around town doesn't mean you need to be in that position, because you're not voicing on nothing. And one of the biggest things I noticed, because I really looked into these people, especially when I was running for mayor, when they had their debates. If you have to read off a piece of paper when they're asking you about racial diversity and different things about the city, if it ain't in your heart and you can't just speak on it, you don't need to be in that position, because you don't really feel for it. Like, I don't need to read a script that when they ask me like, how do you feel about racial division or so on and so forth in the city? Like, if I got to read a script, that's a telltale sign. I don't know, So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
do plan on running for that. And then in the future, I do, because I don't know if you're familiar with Jewel Jones. He's the youngest legislator in Michigan, the young brother that up there. And we're in contact. So I plan on running for, U.S.
Oh,
Senate sometime in the near future. I thought about doing it next year, but I'm like, let me walk up that ladder first and get a local position, then go for the
yeah.
state position, so people can be more recognizable to my name.
Well, that's awesome, Daquan, and I'm so proud of you. I'm not listen. I'm a mother, so I can say I'm so proud of you. I just want you to continue to do what you're doing. So, what do you want, like the younger generation and older generation alike, to get out of the Daquan Thomas show? What do you want them to get out of?
Also, my show, mainly the biggest thing is, I just want to encourage and inspire by sharing local stories and allowing people to have a platform. That's the biggest part. And I wanted it to show that, you know we got talent here. Like, Paducah has some major talent, and that was the biggest thing. And then also with my celebrity guests, just giving them inspiration as well to see, you know hear their stories, sharing their stories, how they started, and where they're going and how they've done everything like that. So it's mainly just to encourage. That was the biggest part of my show.
Awesome, awesome. So, what's next for you?
Yeah, what's next? Oh my goodness. A lot. I always like to take a lot under my belt. Um, other than running for city commission next year, that's one of the major things that I got to start prepping for. And season 2 of my show will be coming soon. Still trying to get everything ready with that. And then other than that, just doing my YouTube channel. I got a lot of content, a lot of vlogs. I've been doing so much, but I never can just sit down and work because I got so many clients. I do videography and stuff for clients around town.
Yeah.
So that's one of my biggest things, just working on my YouTube, putting out more content. Um, and yeah, I'm trying to think, because I get asked this question, and afterwards, one of my creative directors, she's always like, "You forgot to say this. You forgot to say this." So I always got to remember. That's pretty much it. I think the biggest thing is running again. That's going to be one of the biggest things for me, and my YouTube channel, Dujuan Thomas. So y'all got to make sure to go watch that, watch
Yeah.
my videos and everything.
Listen, I am so honored to have you on the Morning Gem podcast, right here with your sister and friend Crystal Whitaker. I am just really inspired by you, and I want you definitely to continue to keep going. And I know that you are a inspiration to a lot of young people and older people alike. So I know the I'm sorry, yeah, Monique and
Yeah.
Fred Hammond thing where was like presented to us on yesterday, how he talked about, hey, don't take what she says about wearing bonnets and wearing pajamas and slippers and stuff like that onto town, in the stores, at the airport. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, honestly, because I see it around town, locally. And I agree with her about showing pride, and that goes for male, female, black, white, anybody. You
Yeah.
should have pride in yourself, because I'm not about to go outside in pajamas with my hair looking a mess, and because I wouldn't want to be seen like that. So I think everybody should have that pride in themselves to say, I don't want to be seen out like this. And there's days where, you may not feel like getting yourself together, and that's fine. But some people make it an everyday thing. And that's kind of where I think Monique was coming from, like people that make it an everyday thing. Because, even with men, I can speak on with males, like growing back in the day, like in the 60s, all men wear suits and a hat. And I love that. Like that was very presentable. Today it's kind of less convenient to wear a suit everywhere. We're more in a
Right.
casual wear society. So I understand that. But that even goes with sagging. Like I don't honestly see it hardly anymore. And I'm glad for that. But there's people that still out here that do that. But then they
Yeah.
wonder why people perceive us as criminals or thugs, because that stereotype's attached to that that mannerism of sagging your pants. And I just think it's honestly ignorant to want to sag your pants, because why? Just why? I never really understand it. And I think it's a lot of they don't have anybody to look up to that's showing them what's right. And I think that's the biggest thing. And it's sad, honestly. And that's kind of the reason why I wanted to run as a youth and a minority, just to show them that you can do anything. You don't have to be what you see out here. You can do anything, honestly. And that's one of the biggest things for all I do. Like, I always make sure to let people know, like, if I'm posting stories, doing something inspiring, you could do what I'm doing. I'm nothing special. I keep my faith in God, and he's blessed me with so much, but you can do what I'm doing as well, So I always tell people, don't let anything hold you back, not even stereotypes or your environment, because you can break through and be that different. So, yeah.
That's what I am trying to do. Dujuan, I'm just trying to reach, like, all the women, like you said, white, Black, Asian. Listen, you can be beautiful, but just when you start like hiding yourself behind all of this stuff that you're supposed to wear inside and wearing it outside, like you say, on a daily basis. 8 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, then you wearing it to bed, might get back up. So it's just like I want them to bring the best out of them, and I know that's not the best. So like I said, was mentioned earlier with G Wade on the earlier podcast, was like, really, we hear women calling each other queens and men kings and bosses and all of this. We want you to, present yourself as a queen and a king and boss and all of that. So I don't think that's presenting yourself like that. So I'm definitely with her. I can take her, suggestion, tapping me on the shoulder and saying, hey, Chris, you need to fix this. And I'm good with that. I won't get mad. I won't get angry. Won't be like, hey, you're not my mama. You don't tell me.
Right.
No, I just want women to take it and run with it and not take it as an offense. So,
yeah. And I think one more thing on that, I think it comes down to the parents as well. Like, the parents are somewhat a cause of this, because they're not correcting their children. And some households may not have both parents, but still, if a mother or father sees that, they should be able to say, hey, and they could say it in a loving way, because that's their child. They should be able to say, like, hey, you shouldn't go out looking like that. Because I know if my brother's about to go outside looking any kind of way, I'm gonna be like, hey, I may not be as nice with him, but I'll be like, you got to get that in check, man. Come on. So I think that's a big part too, is just like, parents need to be parents and do the job of parents. Because I was raised by my grandmother, but my parents are both in my life. And she made, she's from old school, so she definitely had me, suits on Sunday and type stuff like that. So, I think it's just the parenting is kind of shifting, and that needs to be checked. It honestly does.
Yeah, and Dujuan, you can say for the parents to teach them, but when they get of a certain age, they want to do what they want to do. But we just hope and pray that they don't go down that road and just really present themselves as that queen and king. So
definitely,
I thank you for joining the Morning Jam podcast. I appreciate you, brother. So let the people know where they can reach you and get in contact with all this greatness that you do in photography and all.
Yes, ma'am. So they can go to www.dujuanthomas.com. That's like everything is on there. They can find me on Facebook at Dujuan Thomas Live or at Dujuan Thomas Production. That's my business page. They can find my YouTube, just searching Dujuan Thomas. That'll be one of the top results. And on Instagram, Dujuan_Thomas. And you can see all my posts and all that stuff there as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Right here on the Morning Jam podcast with your sister and friend, Crystal Whitaker. We thank you.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this podcast, tune in each week on thinkingoutloudnetwork.com. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share with your friends and family. Until next time, peace.